Professional Wellbeing Reflection by Patrice Bridges. For this reflection, I chose the question, what core aspects of mental health first aid are central to its effectiveness? And I will focus on what I believe the core aspects are, as well as how they connect to both my personal experiences and what I have learned in this course. I think one of the most central aspects of mental health first aid is understanding that mental illness is real, and if left untreated, mental health challenges can get worse over time. I grew up in a time and in a family where mental health was often dismissed and minimized. It wasn't until recently, when I took a course on mental health literacy, that I began to really understand how complex mental illness is and how much stigma still exists around it. For me, reducing stigma is the foundation of mental health first aid. Until we can talk about mental health the same way that we talk about physical health, we can't fully support people who are struggling. Another key aspect is early recognition. Noticing changes in behavior, mood, or daily functioning may signal someone is struggling. Sometimes those changes are small, but they matter. A normally cheerful student becomes withdrawn, or a colleague starts missing work, or someone's energy has shifted. Early recognition enables early intervention. That leads into the ALGE action plan, which I think is at the heart of mental health first aid. Just as CPR provides a set of steps to follow in a physical emergency, ALGE offers a guide for responding to a mental health crisis. What I like most about ALGE is that it reminds us that we're not expected to fix the problem. We're there to support, to listen, and connect the person to the right help. When someone opens up, our role is to stay calm and compassionate. Personally, I find it helpful to have a few supportive phrases memorized so I can respond mindfully. Saying things like, "That sounds so hard," or "Thank you for trusting me with that," can make a big difference. It might seem odd to rehearse them, but for me, it builds my confidence so that I am best equipped to deal when a situation arises. Another core aspect of mental health first aid is self-awareness and regulation. To be a calm and supportive person for someone else, I need to be in a good mental state myself. That means taking care of my own well-being so I can show up grounded and steady. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Finally, I think a follow-up and relationship repair are often overlooked but essential. After a mental health crisis, the person might feel embarrassed or vulnerable. Checking in later when things are calmer will help rebuild the trust and let them know you still care. From a prevention perspective, I really connect with the PERMA model of well-being. I like that PERMA gives me something tangible that I can use and apply in my classroom. I know I can't control what happens to my students when they're outside of school, but I can control the environment I create inside it. I can build relationships, celebrate small successes, encourage engagement, and foster a sense of meaning and belonging. And those are protective factors for mental health, both for the students and the teacher. To me, mental health first aid is effective because it gives us the language and a framework for responding to mental health challenges with compassion and confidence. The reality is that we will be supporting students who are struggling. As according to the Ontario Ministry of Education, it estimates that 15 to 20% of children and youth will struggle with a mental health problem. Knowing this makes mental health first aid even more important, as it gives educators the skills to recognize early warning signs, to listen without judgment, and connect students to the right supports, especially because it is known that school staff are well positioned to develop supportive relationships with students and notice changes in their mental health. As someone who wants to become a special education teacher, this document, Caring and Safe Schools in Ontario, really speaks to my future role. It states that students are more motivated to do well and achieve their full potential in schools that have a positive school culture and one in which they feel safe and supportive. And creating that kind of environment will be a key part of my work. In special education, students and teachers often come to you for help with everything, not just academics, but behavior, physical needs, and this includes mental health. It really is a catch-all for students and teachers who may need extra support in any area. This document also reminds us that behavior is a form of communication, often signaling unmet needs. This is where special education intersects with mental health. My role will be to look beyond the behavior, respond with compassion, and help create the safe and supportive school culture that all students need. Ultimately, mental health first aid is not just about intervention. It's about connection. It's about creating school environments where people feel seen, supported, and comfortable reaching out when they are struggling. Thank you for listening.